All right, so welcome back to the last part of rhetorical analysis, and in this section we're going to look at specifically how to put the essay together. Now, the great transition between the last essay and this essay is that the visual text and the rhetorical text analysis basically look the same. So if you've got a feel for how the visual text analysis essay looks, this one looks the same. As far as if you look at the organization here, this is what, 262. As you can see, this is the same, right, as the last essay. We want to hit on the same points in the introduction. The purpose of these essays is the same. We're just looking at a different type of text. So like in the visual text, we're looking at a movie, for example, and we're asking ourselves, how does the director express their message clearly? What kind of devices do they use to pull that off? In this essay, we're doing the same thing, but we're looking at a physical text, like, there's a collection of essays, right? The Bertrand Russell Conquest of Happiness, a very famous essay. And you could look at something like that and ask yourself, how does Bertrand Russell effectively communicate his message about the fleeting nature of happiness? And you put it together in your thesis, and then it comes out like, okay, so Russell uses metaphor and analogy and antistrophe, and another one might say climax or something, and there you have your thesis. So same as the last essay, you want your thesis. Actually, let's go ahead and look at thesis statements here. Here's probably the best example of a very straightforward, simple thesis for this essay. It has three parts: tag, devices, message. In this case, the order is tag, message, devices. It really doesn't matter what order you put that in there, as long as your thesis for the visual text and rhetorical text analysis has those three parts. Tag, title, author, genre. In President Barack Obama's A More Perfect Union speech. So the tag is title, A More Perfect Union, author, President Barack Obama, and genre, speech. That is the genre of speech. So that's the tag, is in that prepositional phrase. After that, you have your message. He expresses the need for racial unification in the United States, then follows that up with how, right? The rhetorical devices that Barack Obama uses to put forth his message. So we use a transitional kind of expression there through the use of anaphora, personal anecdote, antistrophe, and conduplicatio. And that's going to be my thesis. And how this sets up the rest of the essay is that those devices, there are four of them there: anaphora, anecdote, antistrophe, conduplicatio. You base your body paragraphs off of those. So if we go back to that previous page with the outline, you'll see that we want several body paragraphs outlined around the devices. So let's see, maybe one or two more things here, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a sample essay and kind of break down how someone makes a rhetorically effective essay. In the body paragraphs, there are several different strategies that you can choose to use as far as how you want to organize it. If you look back at the last essay, we used MADE, message, audience, device, effectiveness. If you touch on each of those points in your analysis, you're probably making some pretty good strides there towards a visual text analysis. You can use that same strategy here. MADE also works for rhetorical analysis. So if that strategy works for you, go ahead and keep using it. Message, audience, device, effectiveness. If you write about a sentence on each of those, you're on your way to producing some good analysis. Sorry, my kids are right in the other room there. Other devices you might use are SOAPs: subject, occasion, audience, purpose, speaker. You can call the wolf. You can look at occasion, the where, the occasion, the language, and then the format. Format in this case is like organization. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at an essay. This is the sample that you'll find on our webpage. Okay, so she should start with a hook. Since early civilizations, humans have attempted to understand the nature of reality. Could probably use a slightly stronger hook there, but that's okay. We have Allegory of the Insight is one of the best known, insightful works. Okay, so she starts introducing the text, the author. Let's go back to our outline here. What do we want to be doing there? Hook, message, genre, author. Okay, so we're sort of getting there. She's getting into author and text a little sooner than I probably would have. But so there's some things missing, in the very beginning there. Two speakers. Okay, so this is summary. She's going to summarize the Allegory of the Cave for us, which she does very well. Yeah, so I mean, in general, a couple of things missing from the sample there would be maybe a stronger touch on the message and the genre. I think those would be pretty good. Oh, and the audience. I don't know does she mention the audience? The audience, the world. Okay, so she does mention the audience here, which is good. Okay, and then if we look at the thesis itself, it's right here at the end. That's the kind of de facto standard location of a thesis anyway, is the last sentence or series of sentences of your introduction. So we have it right here, where we really get into the devices. I'd say arguably it might start at his purpose, but let's start here. Plato effectively conveys his perspective through the use of imagery, metaphors, and rhetorical questions. So there's only one problem with this, and that is that this is set up like a 5-paragraph essay. So by using 3 supporting points, we end up with 3 body paragraphs, 5-paragraph total. That's cliche. You want to avoid that. But otherwise, this is very good. She puts forth the devices. She's going to explain how each of them are going to work. So that all works really well. There's just a couple, minor facets of the introduction that could be stronger. Let's go and take a look at the body paragraphs here. Plato's use of imagery. So we have there the speaker or author, the device, which you want to have in your topic sentence. I think there's actually a page on this. It talks about the beginning of the body paragraph. Here we go, topic sentences. How does the speaker effectively use a particular device to communicate the message? You want to kind of connect these 3 parts: the speaker, the message, and the device. So that's what we want to do in our topic sentence. So we want to have the speaker, who is here, Plato. Imagery is the device, and the message. And actually, yeah, she does do that. That's just in the second sentence. So her topic sentence is really the first 2 sentences here, and she's able to deliver on all 3 of those. And then after that, you just need to set up your evidence. You want to bring in evidence that is going to support your claim, right? So here she's making a claim about kind of the purpose of the Allegory of the Cave. Then we're going to add in evidence. And the wonderful thing that this student does here is she really effectively, she effectively brings in a secondary source here. So she quotes the primary source, which is Plato's Allegory of the Cave. And then she cites a secondary source. These are great because they help you add to your analysis, expand, become more thoughtful about a particular topic. And although there's not a whole lot of analysis here, she picks it up here with plenty of analysis. So that's in itself a pretty good paragraph. Let's look at the next one there. So we have Plato uses metaphors for this purpose. Yeah, the first 2 sentences there. Okay, so there's an effective topic sentence there. We should see a paragraph on the use of metaphors here and how metaphors help Plato express the message in the piece. So we should see examples of that here. As I mentioned here, we would like a little bit more analysis in this part, but otherwise, this is also a pretty solid paragraph. I mean, it does suffer academically and in the purpose not having that analysis. As you can see here, there's a little bit of analysis that follows the evidence. I would like to see a little bit more there. That's adequate, but a little bit more would be nice. And let's see, finally, so she's going to wrap it up here. Look at rhetorical questions. So in each body paragraph, you're going to look at the device and you're going to say, okay, so how does the author, in this case Plato, use rhetorical questions to forward their message or their idea or their moral, if you will, if they have a moral to the story. Say it's a work of fiction or something. So we have here plenty of examples. We have the examples of the rhetorical device. It's interesting that she brings in the Bo Bennett quote here. You want to introduce who this person is. I don't think that's maybe the best use of a secondary source, but I see where she's going with that. It's not cited in MLA format, so there's a couple small things there that could be improved on. But overall, this is a solid paper. It does need, some more analysis, another body paragraph. Aside from a couple small things here and there, it's real solid. And as you can see here on the works cited page, you want to have your title centered, capitalized, and then we've got our citations here. These all look very good. She should have the indentation, so it's missing the hanging indentation. But otherwise, these are very good. I hope this helps to explain some of the facets of what makes an effective rhetorical analysis. If you look in the lecture, it's going to go ahead and break that down. It'll give you examples of thesis statements. What it gives you. This one is a more expansive, kind of creative take on it. This one is very standard, like totally good to copy, replicate, make it your own, tag, message, devices. Make sure it has those three parts and you should be set. All right, and then this paragraph here, this page here, breaks down the body paragraphs in detail and talks about how you want to, use your evidence, set up your evidence, have your evidence, use an analytical strategy like SOAPs, Wolf, or Made, and then follow it up with a secondary source that helps you expand on your analysis. All right, so this basically breaks it down. This goes over the options for the conclusion, which are the same as the last essay, more or less. Well, very, very, very much the same, actually. All right, so that brings us to the end of the how to write the essay. All right, so let me know if you have questions. Email me, let me know. Make sure to read the page on fine-tuning. And note that the last couple parts of the lectures always show you how. This one is how to cite a speech. This is how that would look on your works cited page, although it doesn't have the hanging indentation. And then this is how to cite the lecture. Make sure to change the date to be the date that you read it. All right. Thank you so much for your attention.